This is one of the craziest self-defense moments I've ever seen because the defensive weapon wasn't a gun, it was a car. Watch this shit. Yeah, that was real. A guy watched someone get shot, then use his car as a defensive tool, but you haven't even seen the full insane story yet. And here's how the news described what led up to that moment.
Now, this story is a wild one. 2 people dead in what sounds like a vigilante taking action. A driver saying he sees gunfire ring out, and the next thing he knows, he runs over the suspected shooter. Saturday, 18 hours later, traffic at a stop at the corner of 7th Ave and I-17. Phoenix police, homicide, and cleanup crews working to figure out what led to this.
So right away, you know this isn't normal violence. This is violence stacked on panic. And watch, the details get even messier.
Police say their investigation shows Friday night, just before 11, 2 motorcycle riders were stopped at this light. One rider then shot the other. There's no word on what prompted this shooting.
A shooting in the middle of the street, in the middle of a fight with zero context, and that lack of context is where every self-defense nightmare starts. But the next part is where everything goes off the rails.
Then the driver of a car nearby saw the man shooting, and police say he then hit the shooter with his car.
So now you've got a shooting and a vehicular homicide in the same defensive moment. And here's the crazy part. This situation is exactly why defensive gun use, hell, any self-defense is way more complicated than people think. You see something violent happen, your brain wants to simplify it into good guy versus bad guy, but in real life, you don't get labels, you don't get context, and you don't get a scoreboard, and you don't get time. And this moment, this insane, chaotic, blink, and it's gone situation is exactly why jumping into someone else's fight is the fastest way to ruin your life. Now, before we go deeper, a quick message for the people who refuse to let criminals write the rules of the world. So, even though Black Friday is over everywhere, it is not over at shop.mrcolionnoir.com. We decided to extend the entire sale. So right now, almost everything on the site is 20% off when you use the code FAFO at checkout. That includes our brand new line, the FAFO Collection, that you can see me wearing right here on this hat, right? Also, the Right to Bear Arms design, the Defend America design, Keep America Tactical design, all the shirts, the hoodies, the hats, the drinkware, and almost forgot, my favorite, the AKT1 Blackouts, my absolute favorite wireless Bluetooth in-ear hearing protection. Basically AirPods for shooters, except they actually protect your hearing during gunfire. So hit the link in the description section and use the code FAFO and save 20% on almost everything at shop.mrcolionnoir.com. Now, all right, let's talk about the part people are not thinking about in this case. Here's where this gets complicated, and this is where I want people to slow down and really think. Because in that split-second moment, the driver hit the gas, he made a decision based on what he thought he was seeing. He might have been right. Maybe he saw everything clearly. Maybe he had more context than we do right now. Maybe he understood the situation perfectly. But here's the real question. Would you have known enough in that moment? Would you have had enough information to be confident you were stopping the right person? Because self-defense, especially third-party defense, is messy. Most people see 2 seconds of violence and their brain goes, bad guy, good guy, I know what to do. But do you really? Are you sure? When violence breaks out, fast, chaotic violence, you almost never get the full story. You might see a gun, you might see someone fall, you might see someone running, but you don't know who started the fight, who escalated it, who had what weapon, who was actually defending themselves, what threats were made, what happened 30 seconds earlier. And those small details, those are the ones that decide whether you're a hero or headed for a legal nightmare. And that's what I want people to understand. Are you ready to bet your freedom on what you think is happening? Are you ready to bet your family, your job, your life savings on a snap judgment in someone else's fight? Because if you're right, yeah, maybe you saved the life. Maybe you stopped someone dangerous. Maybe the world is safer because of you. But if you're wrong, if your perception is off by just one detail, you might have just killed the actual victim. And that's a burden you don't walk away from. Now, I am not saying the driver in this case was wrong. He may have done exactly what was necessary. He may have understood more than any camera captured. He may have been 100% justified. We don't know yet. What I am saying is this: when you step into someone else's fight, you take full ownership of that outcome, morally, legally, financially. Sometimes intervening is the right thing. Sometimes it saves lives. But the truth is, if you don't have enough information to be almost certain you're helping the right person, you may want to prioritize keeping your people safe, calling 911 and being a good witness, and only using force if the threat turns towards you. Not because you're scared, not because you don't care, but because once you pull that trigger or once you floor that gas pedal, there's no rewind button. And training, situational awareness, and realistic self-defense thinking are what keep you from making a life-altering mistake. So yeah, this story is wild, but it's also a reminder that real-life violence is fast, it's confusing, and unforgiving. If you ever decide to step into something like this, make sure you're not just ready to act, make sure you're ready to be right. Because in self-defense, the cost of being wrong is everything. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together, we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.